All right, today we're going to talk about car wrap prices and why I see such variation in the market from $1,800 all the way up to $7,000. When it comes to car wraps, there's very little knowledge in the difference of materials that are offered in the car wrap world. There's vinyl wrap, there's Plasti Dip, there's PPF. We don't really work with Plasti Dip as much as we used to back in the day. But now mostly PPF is what our demographic tends to go towards. It grabs the pros from wrap and from PPF and meshes it together with the ease of installation of color change wrap and the durability and thickness of PPF. So that's been the latest craze in the market, and we've been doing it like crazy. We used to do on average 10 color change wraps, like from 3M, Avery, APA. We used to do 10 of those a week and only like 2 PPFs a week. But now with this drastic shift in the market, we're doing more PPFs to where we're doing 7 or 8 full PPFs a week and only 2 or 3 color change wraps. So when it comes to professional shops, you tend to see them leaning more towards PPF because there's no way that you can get that professionalism from any beginner. But the price variation of people entering the market when you're like, oh, hey, I would like to get my car wrapped. How much does it average cost? And when you're shopping on Facebook Marketplace, you'll see certain prices. You'll see prices as low as even like $1,500. But that's because you have someone that's doing it in their garage. They have very low overhead. I'm not knocking it whatsoever. I started that way too. So I'm heavily supportive of it, and I used to get bashed in the marketplace for me doing that. I used to knock out such high volume out of my house that I had a line of cars outside of my residential neighborhood just for me to work on their cars. And I was giving really good rates and I was doing really good work, but that was color change wrap. I didn't do PPF at the time. So the wrap market is a bit saturated. And when it comes to pricing, there's a lot of variations in terms of how much disassembly is going into the car, the difficulty of the car, the size of the car, how much material it's going to use, and then on top of that, the biggest factor is the brand of material being used. You have some brands of material that they're super cheap. You find them online when you Google just car wrap pink vinyl. You type that in, you find it, $200 from Alibaba. Obviously, if it's $200, there's something wrong. You're buying something that's not gonna have the best finish or the best effect or longevity, especially with living in Florida. The sun, heat, and humidity has a huge play on wrap and how long it's going to last. There's wraps that we've installed on clients' vehicles that have lasted anywhere from 5 to 7 years. And there's also wraps that have lasted only 2 years in the Florida sun because some clients, they don't take care of their cars as well. They leave it under a tree, they go on vacation, and all the tree sap just drops on the car, and then with rain and then the sun, it bakes and burns all that debris to the wrap. They come back from vacation 6 months later and they're like, what happened to my car? My wrap isn't holding up. It's not the wrap. The maintenance is also a huge play on it and why some wraps don't last as long. Meanwhile, that was like 3M vinyl. 3M vinyl holds up very well in the Florida sun. We actually, in terms of wraps, sell 3M and Avery 8 out of every 10 full cars. So I'm a strong supporter of their brands. They do really good when it comes to quality. But now the craziest one that I've been swapping to is KPMF. Now KPMF is our top seller for vinyl. They have a lot more color selection, and the vinyl is a bit more pricey than 3M in certain colors. So if you get a basic color, let's say like gloss black, you'll be spending anywhere from like $750 to $800 for the roll, right? So you're getting the roll of gloss black from 3M, AV, KPMF, anyone for roughly about the same price, anywhere from $700 to $800. But that's high quality vinyl, and it's going to last you a lot longer than any of the cheaper vinyls that you find for $200 to $300 will. Even some of the distributors, they say that their vinyl is not meant for design wraps. That's what they call like the color change wraps for fun, changing a car from black to red or burgundy. That's a design wrap. They say that their vinyl is more for commercial use, where you're doing cut graphics, lettering, decals, things like that, because typically companies tend to change those graphics a lot more. Now, when you also go into more developed colors, like heavy metallic, or you're going to a color shift, or even neochromatic colors, those ones, the material tends to cost more if it's from a good brand. Like Avery, you're looking at the material cost being anywhere from 1,600 to 2 grand for chrome. But you can find chrome for like 400 to 600 bucks online. The difference is in how easy that material is going to be to install. So yeah, you might save money on the material itself, but if you go to an experienced shop, you're going to be spending more on the labor, because that cheaper material is going to be a lot harder to be able to maneuver around the curves and edges of the vehicle, as opposed to the high quality vinyl that's made to conform to those aggressive curves and edges. So typically when it comes to more high-end vehicles, especially with chrome vinyl, we tend to use Avery or Hexus for their chrome. Whenever it's even like a Cybertruck, we can do a Cybertruck because it's flat. A Cybertruck, we can use a cheaper brand. We always let the clients know there are 2 options. We always present all the options. So Tech Wrap would be this price, Avery will be this price. So the price difference is mainly in the material and in how hard it is for my installers to be able to install it. The installers get paid very well because it is an art at the end of the day. This is an artwork with what we're doing on the cars. If you damage even a single piece of these cars, you're going to be spending more on the replacement of the part that's damaged or fixing the paint from scratches or scuffs, as opposed to what you're making on the total job. So there's another factor, is when it comes to the type of vehicle that you're doing the work for. A price is obviously going to be different if you're doing like a Q50 or a M4 BMW, as opposed to a McLaren 720S or a Lamborghini SVJ. But if you want quality, you want to put out good work, and you want the results of the job on your vehicle to look good, spend the extra money. You know, you're already spending it on the value of the car. It's going to be worth it to have that extra bit of knowledge, knowing that they put in extra effort in doing the job correctly. When it comes to a 720S, for example, the door is a 3-piece door. You have to disassemble that entire door, and it takes about 2 hours to take apart one door. So that's just a rough estimate for the average installer. So especially with Porsches too, you have to take apart the door. Some Lamborghinis, you have to take the glass out of the window in order to be able to just take off the mirror. And that's all increased liabilities. A reputable shop always holds liability for the work that they do, and they'll take care of any problems that they might come across. They might not break anything, and that's cool, that's good on them, but that's now you're paying for their experience. So them not breaking anything on the car is because they have experienced installers, experienced staff, and they know what they're doing, and you're paying for that knowledge as opposed to paying a beginner that's doing it out of the garage. So when it comes to things like that, that's what the price variation has a huge effect and difference in the marketplace. You know, having an established shop now, I spend almost, I would say, $10,000 in overhead a month. And I know what it feels like for all those other shops out there that they have overheads way over what I spend a month. But we focus more on volume. So my pricing is a little more fair in terms of we are at anywhere from $2,800 to $3,200 for a color change wrap on a car. And for PPF, we're anywhere from $4,600 to $5,200. And that's more than fair. There are shops that are charging more. You know, we do work for other shops where I charge even them $5,200 and they're charging the customer $8,000. I'm still doing the work. It's still the same quality, the same amount of effort getting put into the car, same exact amount of care that we put out if you come to us directly, as opposed to going to them directly. But, you know, I just like putting general good work out there, because the more good work that enters the world in the rap scene, the more happy the clientele are going to be. And they're going to know that there's people out there doing excellent jobs and that their cars are always going to look perfect. So whether you come to me, another shop, or anything like that, always make sure that the installers know what they're doing, that they're putting their heart and soul into their job. It is an art craft. You want to make sure that whoever's doing the job treats it like an art craft. You know, they are artists. So at the end of the day, make sure that you're paying attention to that. Don't just focus on the price immediately off bat. That's like a painting. You know, whether you're getting like a print copy of a painting as opposed to a copy that's been hand painted that took almost 70 hours for someone to do. You're paying for their time and the craft and how long it took for them to get that good at that craft. When it comes to PPF, the price variation is also very wide because there's a lot of vinyl that's been flooding in from China. especially from SEMA. When we went to SEMA, we noticed that a lot of new companies just popped out of nowhere. You know, they're like clones of each other. They're all offering PPF at like $400 a roll, $500 a roll. Meanwhile, we pay almost $1,200 to $1,600 for a roll of PPF. So when it comes to doing the job, you have to factor in the price of the PPF material for using good quality film, the price of the installer. PPF takes twice as long as wrapping a normal car. A normal color change wrap we can do in maybe like 2-3 days max, depending on the car. PPF takes about 4 days to 7 days, depending on the vehicle and what the vehicle entails us doing. So we also bulk cut and wrap around the edges. So it does take us a little bit longer. We wait for the edges to dry, wrap it around, because we don't like seeing any of the seam lines, or we don't like seeing the edges cut short. So we do bulk cut everything. And that takes a little extra time. You know, you have to have patience. The car sits in the shop that's taking up a space that another car could be pulled into and get work done started on. So when it comes to PPF, there is a decent amount of variation too. Just remember, quality also matters there. Some shops, they don't do the paint correction prior to doing the installation of the PPF. And some shops do. Also, some shops do full disassembly. Other shops don't require disassembly. I prefer not really doing disassembly. If a customer requests it, we do it, but we have to charge because now there's additional hours of labor getting put into the job. But whenever a customer asks, oh, hey, do you guys disassemble included in the price? I typically say no, because we don't want any complaints or problems with panels suddenly not fitting. You guys as the consumers, you have to also factor in, if a shop is doing full disassembly, obviously it is gonna cost a bit more. You can save money by not having that done. It's not necessarily required. And I would more so lean towards not taking apart the car, so that way you don't have any mismatched panels, panel gap. You never know what you might come across or experience. So I always like to let the client know. We take photos, videos, do a full walk around with the customer, so that way you guys can see that, you know, the car is in perfect condition. This is how it was dropped off. Even if it wasn't in perfect condition, these are the flaws, and here are the solutions, A, B, C, D. If you want to do a cheaper solution, a moderate solution, or a professional solution. Another thing when it comes to disassembly would be door jambs. Some shops don't do full disassembly for the door jambs. When a customer asks us to do door jambs, yes, it's going to cost you more. We charge about like $250 plus for door jambs per door. We take the entire doors off the vehicle, and that's a lot of liability. You can't move the car, you can't turn on the car. Some vehicles, especially like Mercedes, they enter almost like a lock mode. So the car cannot have the battery plugged in at all when the doors are taken off the vehicle in order to work on the door jambs. And then we take the doors off, put them on sawhorses, wrap the entire inside of the door nice and clean, because you don't want to have it with multiple seams or parts. We do the inside of the door in one nice clean piece, and then we reattach the door, make sure that the door lines up, perfect fitment, and then we keep on going with the next panel. So door jambs are one of the most important aspects of, is it getting included in the price that you're paying, depending on where you're going. For us, we do everything a la carte, so we give a base starting rate to keep it as economical as possible. And then we present all the additional options after that. You want door jambs? It's this much for door jambs. You want chrome delete? It's this much for chrome delete. Okay, you want to get the lower side skirt panels wrapped in a different color? All right, well, we'd be doing the side skirt panels anyway, but there's a difference that you have to pay for the material, because now we have to order another one. So you just have to pay for that material difference. I'm really big on also saving the client's money, because I started as a client and I eventually became an installer to a shop owner. So I always focus on budget, and if there's any scrap or spare material that I have in our material room, I always present that as a first option for budget clients. Hey, if you want to save a little extra bucks, I have about 20 feet of this color in. I would only need to order another 40 feet, and it'll save you X amount of dollars. So if the customer wants to go for that, or they like one of those colors, 3 out of every 4 times, to be honest, they see the material room and they're like, wow, I didn't know I had so much variation in colors to choose from, that they end up choosing another color other than satin black, satin dark gray, or satin white, you know? So typically most of the colors that we end up doing for full color change wraps tend to be from me just showing them all the potential colors that they have to choose from. There's a plethora of colors from all different manufacturers. So color shift vinyls are my most favorite. I like seeing that shift. My Porsche itself is wrapped in a gray base. It's a PPF, it's a color shift PPF. It's a gray base with pink and purple metallic to it. So depending on the time of day, it shifts and everyone thinks that it's a neochromatic color from Porsche, but it's not. I go and I show them, I open up the doors because my vehicle is actually black, and you can see that inside the door jambs, it's not wrapped all the way around. It just comes in around the first crease, and my color is black. And they're like, wow, I thought this was paint. And I was like, nope, this is a color change PPF and it's gonna last me about 8 years. We can do that exact same look for your vehicle. And it tends to work, you know? So we wanna make sure that the cars look as much like paint as possible, especially when we're doing color change PPF on them. And as cleanly of an install for color change wrap. Wrap, we wanna try to disassemble as much as we can, but we present the customer with different options. Do you want option A, B, or C? A being the most economical, B being economic, moderate, but will still come out with a nice clean job, or C, full in-depth disassembly, reassembly. This is your price. Also, another sign of a good shop is how their warranty is. Depending on the weather, heat, humidity, cold, anything that the car is going to encounter, there might be a problem. You know, we can't assume how it's going to interact with the sun. If there's going to be a bubble, air pocket, something small might come up. Say a customer picks up a vehicle, freshly PPF'd, which is applied with soap and water, and they have to drive it, ends up raining torrentously that night. We've had this happen to us before. And we can't control the water moving in the wheel wells and then lifting up the PPF over there because it hasn't fully cured yet or adjusted. So the vehicle has to come back. We take care of it. No problem. It's not the customer's problem. It wasn't a fault of the labor, but it's something that we feel responsible that we have to take care of because that at the end of the day is our work on the roads. So we take care of it. We warranty it, make sure that there's no problem of that. There might be like bubbles or lifting from the heat when a car leaves, especially when we have sudden shifts in temperature. A car leaves from an AC controlled environment out to the Florida sun. It acclimates for the next day or two, which we always notify you guys, the clients, that, hey, if you guys notice anything, it is gonna adjust to Florida's heat and humidity. Don't be shy to bring it by. Even if you don't notice anything, within the week, we might notice something, so just bring it by. We do a full walk around for 10 minutes. If we notice something, we take care of it then and there. And now your vehicle is good to go. You're not gonna have any future problems. So always pay attention to what the warranties are that the shops offer. We offer a 6-month labor warranty. So anything that is covered from the labor installation of the vehicle gets covered within the first 6 months. After that, typically if you notice something, you should have let us know within the first 6 months, because the only problems with wraps or PPF tend to happen within the first week or two. So we take care of those problems. Anything after that might be environmental or a problem that we cannot help or we're not in control of. Also, the materials have their own warranties too. The cheaper vinyls don't have the best warranty. They actually have no warranty. Whenever there's a problem, they're just like, oh, sucks to suck, just buy another roll. It's already cheap enough, why are you complaining? So they just make you buy another $300, $400 roll. At that point, now you're in the whole $800, which is the same cost of buying a brand new, good, high quality vinyl that you would have only need to order once. So warranty for good brands, they stand behind their brands. I've had problems with really good reputable brands and they are just like, hey, we're sorry about that problem that you encountered. Here's a brand new roll of our vinyl that you're installing on the customer's car. We're gonna overnight ship it to you. And on top of that, for the inconvenience, here's a roll of full gloss black PPF for you to do with as you wish. And those brands honestly speak for themselves. Like with that type of customer service, I'm very supportive of it. And I love knowing that those brands are supporting me and my business in the same way that I support me and my clientele. So I extend that assistance to the customers. If a brand is taking care of me, I'm gonna make sure that I take care of you with that brand. If there's ever a problem, don't even worry about it. Send us a picture. Even as we're installing, if we come across a problem during the installation process, we already call up the company, hey, there's a material defect on this panel or there's a dot where the glue has delaminated. Can you guys help us out? And they help us out well within the time span of us having your vehicle at the shop. And we never even have to reach out to the customer to let them know that there was a problem. You know, the problem automatically solves itself. That's what a professional shop does. I've had cars that have come to us from other clients that they had warranty problems that they said that the brands didn't want to take care of, or another shop didn't want to take care of the warranty because they said, oh, well, it's just not our fault. You know, that's not a good excuse. You shouldn't be getting that from a shop that it's just not their fault. I've had some people where they had a problem with a wrap that was done at a really cheap shop, and they brought it to me and they were like, hey, what's your opinion on this? You know, being a professional shop, I want to see what you have to say. I give them my honest opinion. I never bash the shop. There's no reason to. My work speaks for itself. But I give them whatever advice I can. They say that they go to speak to that shop and suddenly that shop is no longer in business. So there's a reason why certain shops like us have been around for 9+ years. I've personally been doing it for 14 years as a company. It's 9 years next week in February. So the work and the amount of time that someone has been doing this art definitely speaks for itself. I'm very passionate for what we do on the cars. I'm very passionate for wraps and the color change field itself. So I'll always put my 100% into the work and make sure that the customer gets exactly what they want or what they're expecting from the work that we're putting out and what dollar value that they're paying for that work. So if you ever want to get higher quality work, just know that it is going to demand quite a few extra dollars. You want higher quality PPF, you can get it. It's right there on the market. If you want higher quality wrap, I have quite a few brands, a handful of them that I can definitely refer over to you. When you are going to another shop to get some work done, make sure you ask about their warranty program, what it entails, what does the warranty offer, how long is the warranty for, and what brands are covering certain different aspects in the warranty. So make sure if you're spending $400 on a particular wrap film and then paying X amount of dollars for a wrap, let's say $1,800 total, what does that $1,800 job cover you in terms of warranty and how long that warranty is good for? Is it gonna be a quick touch-up or are you guys not gonna take care of my car? But if you're also spending over $4,000 on a color change wrap at a shop, still ask, what does the warranty entail? Because some shops, they'll still charge you $4,000 and then not want to take care of you. So be sure to cover yourself. Always ask what is covered with this job. Not only just disassembly, not only just labor, not only just material, but the aftercare. What warranty are you going to offer me? And is there any post-care that I should know about for maintaining this wrap and making it last as long as I wish? I hope this video was informative for you guys. I hope you learned something new from all of the different prices, the variations and options that are offered in the wrap industry. If you have any questions on getting your car wrapped, whether it's from us or any other wrap shop that's in your neighborhood, don't be shy to comment below. Let us know what concerns that you might have, or hey, do you think this price is pretty fair for XYZ work? We'll be more than happy to assist you. You can also check out more of our work on Instagram. We post daily on there. And for any ideas for future videos, don't be shy to comment that below as well. Subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.